Hello there, dear pupils. This lecture is going to be super short as well. It's Federalist and Anti-Federalists, which we have gone over in class. You have a chart. There's also the Federalist papers and examples that I've put online or given you a flowchart to in class. You'll need those, so make sure that you read through those assignments in the flowchart before doing some of the flipped assignments today. So your first question is, how long has the U.S. had a two-party system? What were the first two parties? What did they believe in? And what were their essential beliefs terribly different from those of the two major parties today? So this is in your book for the most part. You can use the internet. It doesn't matter to me as long as you have it down. How long has the United States had a two-party system? What are the first parties? What do they believe in? What are their essential beliefs? And how are they terribly different from the two parties today? Again, this is the format for your flipped assignments. Those go in your notebook. So what are the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists fighting about? Well, initially it's constitutional ratification. The Federalists like the Constitution, the Anti-Federalists do not. Later it becomes more about adding a Bill of Rights or not. And even after that it becomes how much authority do you give the president, and it kind of devolves into a big states' rights fight until John Adams is not reelected and then the Federalists kind of die out. But you all remember that from American One, hopefully. So the Anti-Federalists include Samuel Adams, Patrick Henry, Thomas Jefferson, obviously. You guys remember them. Samuel Adams makes beer. Patrick Henry had the really famous speech in the American Revolution. Anyway, they represented small farmers, shopkeepers, laborers, the South. Kind of like the lower middle class and the lower class. Though, to be fair, the lower class wasn't voting, so they probably weren't representing them. They believed in the decency of the common man and in participatory democracy. So their view of what our government should be was closer to what the Athenians had under direct democracy. They viewed elites as inherently corrupt, hated Alexander Hamilton. They sought greater protection of individual rights, which is again why they wanted a Bill of Rights. And they wanted stronger state governments at the expense of federal governments, frequent elections, small districts, more direct democracy were their MOs. And there's Samuel Adams and Patrick Henry. They did not like the Constitution because it gave too much power to the national government. There's no Bill of Rights. Congress is too powerful. They were very nervous about the necessary and proper clause, which in Alexander Hamilton fought tooth and nail to have stuck in there, which is Congress shall have the power to make all the laws which shall be necessary and proper for the carrying into the execution of the foregoing powers, and all of the powers vested by the Constitution in the government of the United States or in any department or office thereof. So again, the point here is the government can do whatever is necessary and proper to keep the government functioning. He believed this made the executive branch too powerful and that it made the federal government in general too powerful. Federalists, of course, the opposite. James Madison, John Jay, Alexander Hamilton, they all published a lot of Federalist essays, and a lot of them were published under the pseudonym Publius. So if you're wondering why at the end of Federalist number 51 it's signed Publius, that's why. They're really into Roman stuff. It's weird. So these people represented property owners, the landed rich, merchants, northern states. They believed in elitism. They saw elites as people who had a vested interest in society, who were more educated than other people, and therefore were the most fit to govern. They, of course, support a powerful central government, the two-house legislature with one house, the Senate being more removed from the people. That's why initially it was state legislatures that elected the Senate, and why their terms are so much longer than the House of Representatives. That was on purpose because the Federalists wanted a body in the government that was more removed from what they believed was the tyranny of the people, honestly. So, they liked the Constitution as it was written. It had the separation of powers that they liked, where each branch represents a different aspect of the people. Because all three branches are equal, no one can assume control over another, so they say that that limits tyranny, and it's perfect. A list of rights can be a dangerous thing, they argued. If the national government were to protect specific listed rights, what would stop them from protecting other rights that were not listed? They argue basically since we can't list all the rights, that it's better to have no list at all, because ultimately it could lead to the federal government impinging on the rights of certain groups, or on certain rights. And of course, states create their own, Bill of Rights anyway, so it's redundant. So they started writing the series of essays, the Federalist Papers, outlining each group's issue with the support of the Constitution. So here I'll just review the main idea of several of them, but you have 3 that I'm going to have you look at. So Federalist numbers 2 through 14 dealt with the utility of the Union to political prosperity. Articles 15 through 22, not articles, essays 15 through 22 dealt with the insufficiency of the Confederation to preserve that Union. So the Federalist Papers they're written around the time that the Constitution is ratified, and they're really arguing for ratification and change. So that deals with the insufficiency, the crappy stuff that the Confederacy, the Articles of Confederation are doing, that make them dysfunctional. Articles 23, not articles, I keep saying that, essays, Federalist Papers, or essays number 23 through 36, deal with the necessity of a government at least equally energetic with one proposed to the attainment of the subject. So again, governments are necessary in order to attain any kind of order. And it's really arguing for the importance of a centralized, strong government. Articles, I can't do it. Federalist Essays 37 through 84, there are a lot of these, deal with the conformity of the proposed Constitution to the true principles of Republican government. So arguing that it's the most like Republican government, and it's the most beneficial to the people, to the states, to every party vested. Federalist Paper, number 85, is an analogy to, basically argues that the Constitution is an analogy. It's something that should fit with state constitutions and should be similar to state constitutions, not go against it. It's not meant to, delegitimize state constitutions. Our Constitution is meant to enhance state constitutions. And Article 85, or Essay 85, also deals with the additional security which its adoption will afford to the preservation of that species of government, to liberty and prosperity. So again, if we adopt this new Constitution, it will help preserve not only the federal government, but state governments, and provide liberty and prosperity. Hi.
Hey. Sorry.
Oh, I'm just recording a video. You're fine. So the second thing that I would like for y'all to do is look at your flowchart for Federalist number 10. Look at the excerpt I gave you from Federalist 51 online, and then there's an excerpt and an article about Federalist 68. So your question for Federalist 10 is, what is a faction? What is the issue with it? How do we fix it? What faction is Madison concerned about in Federalist number 10? Federalist number 51, what is the issue with separation of powers? What is the main idea being argued here? And then Federalist 68, what is the intended role of the Electoral College? And then the last thing that I'd like for you to do is to reflect on this quotation. Is it true? Why? So this is from Alexander Hamilton in Federalist Essay number 1. It says, "It has been frequently remarked that it seems to have been reserved to the people of this country by their conduct and example to decide the important question whether societies of men are really capable or not of establishing a good government from reflection and choice, or whether they are forever destined to depend on their political constitutions on accident and on force." And I think that's all I have for you all today. It is. So good luck with this. Good luck reading through your flowcharts and your overviews of the Federalist essays. I will see you all tomorrow.